Hey, what's up everyone? This is Nick from Chaotix Gaming. Me and Proximity here are making this video to kind of talk about Luke's video that he made. If you didn't know, Luke the Notable made a video about Chaotix Gaming, kind of giving his side on everything and what happened with CX. So me and Cole thought it would be a good idea to kind of make our side of things known and let people know what's happened to Chaotix and what's really happened to Chaotix Gaming as a whole. So we've made a lot of points here that we want to cover, so it's probably be quite a long video, so strap in as we will be chatting about some things. So Cole, do you want to start things off?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that straight up right off the rip, we wanted to upload this to this channel, not either one of our personal channels, because it really will be concerning whoever's directly affected. If anybody was a fan or supporter of Chaotix, people that subscribe to the channel and expect a lot of content, you guys are the guys who are going to see this. And anybody that didn't would just kind of be left out, which is why we felt like this is the more fair way to do it. Just keeps people out that don't need to be in the unnecessary drama of it all. But yeah, I mean, you want to go into the first point, Luke, or Nick, Luke's video? Do you want to go to the first point?
Yes, so in Luke's video, he made a lot of points, but a lot of our big issues with Luke's video, like we didn't really care that he made a video, but it's the fact that he didn't come to us beforehand that he was going to actually talk about Chaotix and kind of, I don't know, he said a lot of things in the video that kind of upset a couple of us because he made it sound like we were kind of really bad and we didn't attribute to the channel whatsoever. And if he had come to us, spoke to us beforehand, kind of give his side of things, a lot of us feel the video wasn't really necessary. I read a lot of comments that also agreed they don't know why the video was made. You know, Chaotix was a grip that was made over a year ago. He hasn't spoke about it for a long time, and then all of a sudden he uploads a video talking about it. I mean, I have nothing against Luke, I just don't understand why the video was made, and I know a lot of people also don't understand why, or why he didn't come to any of us. That's one big thing that I am kind of confused about.
I mean, there are a bunch of just non-factual statements made within the video, one of which was made up very early, like within the first 30 seconds. He said that none of us would talk about what the state of Chaotix was, and it's kind of an unspoken rule to just not say anything, ignore people when asked about it. This is, first of all, is completely false. On multiple occasions, while I'm streaming or something, people would be in my chat, and they would ask, what's the deal? What's going on? It's not as active as I would like, or whatever. And first of all, I just want to also say, like, there's been some regular videos going on for the last few months. I mean, there's actually been a month now without an upload, so there's a bit of a gap before this previous upload. So I'm not going to try to say that the CX channel hasn't been like completely active. I understand that part. It's not as active as we would have all liked it to be, but to say that it just completely has not been used is just false, first of all. So it's not like a lot of people weren't wondering, is my point. And secondly, when people would ask, we would not hesitate to say that right now our own personal channels are our focus. It's not a priority right now. But it's not like we don't identify as being members of Chaotix and it's not still a thing. Just right now, the channel itself is not our huge focus for us. So that was like one of the big points right away, is that he kind of had the stance that the video needed to be made because so many people were kept in the dark, and that's just not true. Because we would not hesitate to answer any questions about it. I mean, I guess the other non-factual statements would have been some statistics that he pulled talking about some of the workload and how it was distributed and some of the contributions he made that others didn't. This was not. If you want to have a more detailed breakdown on that, head over to Wox's channel, and he made a video breaking down the statistics of the views that were produced and all that. You can just find all that information there. It's just not true.
There'll be a link in the description to Wox's video.
Yeah, link in the description. I don't want to get into that. If you want to hear about that, that's a great way to look at it, and he just breaks it down real quick that those weren't quite weighed out properly. Sorry, I kind of went off there for a bit, but covered a few things we want to talk about there.
Another thing was that he mentioned that all the smaller guys in the group were meant to sort of make the bulk of content, which just, it was agreed upon that just wasn't fair for them. That was agreed by everyone that it just wasn't possible for them because, one of the smaller guys, they were still learning the ropes. The 3-4 main people who actually, had active channels and knew what they were doing were me, Cole, Reflex, and Luke. We all had our channels started. They were rolling along, doing fine. We already knew how to fully, make content. Whereas, Dallas, Justin, Tyler, they were still getting into making videos. They weren't 100% up to scratch with how to create content, but that was okay. Chaotix was never kind of built because we were all you know, seasoned professional video makers. We were a group of people who wanted to make this cool group of Halo fans, I guess, who, you know, were either into making videos or were, you know, starting to get into it. That's how I looked at it anyway. We're a group of super hardcore Halo fanatics, I guess, who all share the same vision for what we wanted Chaotix to be. What do you think of that, Cole?
I just want to tap into another aspect of that same thing, that there was the smaller guys were supposed to have this big responsibility in this was talked about a little bit on Dallas's response to this video, but there was also this kind of I've seen some people say, like, it was mentioned at some point in other videos that the small guys didn't actually have this responsibility because, well, first of all, I want to talk about this. Dallas didn't have editing software, which is like, he had some shitty editing software. He didn't have the best way to make videos. And then Justin, for example, didn't even have a channel yet, but then lead people to ask the question, well, why were they even in to begin with? Well, I want to mention one thing that Luke said this at one point. I don't know if he really meant it this way, but he said they were in because they were Cole's friends, and that upsets me because it sounds like that they're just along for the ride because they're, like, with me, which is completely it's a ridiculous thing to say, because first of all, they're all talented creators who have their own channels and their own personalities and their own, you know, certain vibes around their videos. To say that it just seems like they're just swimming in my wake, which I disagree with and dislike. But also because when Chaotix was originally made was back in 2014, years and years before all of this happened. With some of my initial friends, we had a group that we called Chaotix, and basically it evolved into what it is now. And these guys were also friends with other creators. It wasn't just like, I'm bringing them along with me. They're just gonna be dead weight. Like, I didn't just, like, start this club with other creators and they're coming along too. Like, they were friends with other people. Nobody had a problem with them joining. Justin didn't have a channel at the time, but he was planning on making one, which he did, and it's did well. You know, it really wasn't that they were meant to be making all this content because of the fact that I just pointed out Dallas had struggles making videos and Justin didn't even have a channel. So it wouldn't make sense to have him be expected to make stuff when that just simply wasn't the case. Again, I went off for a bit because that one comment upset me a little
One
bit.
Thing about all the other smaller guys who basically, you know, either they didn't really have a channel or it wasn't really, you know, a big channel at all. Everyone's channel is doing pretty damn good. You know, some people, you know, have different things they're doing in life. You know, Chaotix was started over a year ago. It was started in June of 2016, so that's, you know, over a year now. But as Chaotix got started, everyone's channel started popping off. Everyone was putting the work in. Everyone was, you know, growing. That was the whole point of Chaotix, to support and make a group of people to, you know, help support each other. And every last member of Chaotix saw immediate growth. Everyone's channels popped off quite a bit, especially for Halo channels. So that was kind of the whole idea, to kind of help everyone grow and become a better content creator as a whole. And I feel like if there's one thing to take from Chaotix, we achieved that. Like, you know, look at Tyler's channel. He popped off. Dallas, his channel is actually a pretty decent size now. Justin, he went from never making a video to making pretty damn good videos.
He's like 1,500 subs or something.
And even like the later members, you know, not the original members, but even later members that we brought in, because, you know, we thought, you know, they match what we thought Chaotix should be. Like Clay, he's done a great job. His channel, he's super dedicated. He uploads, I think, every day or at least every other day. He's absolutely a massive workhorse. So, you know, the actual members of Chaotix, there's, you know, no one's lazy. No one is, you know, a slacker, I guess, in any way. It's just, you know, if you look at their channels now and you see someone hasn't uploaded, you know, times change. It's over a year ago now, but whenever Chaotix started rolling, everyone was doing their part and no one was kind of along for the ride because of Cole, I guess.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the laziness and slacking mindset. I think Luke never really said that out loud, but the tone of his video overall really inspired a lot of people in the comments to feel that way about it and think that a lot of people just were lazy and slacking, and it made it really sound like he did all the work. And there's just, again, if you look at the statistics video that Woxy put out, you can see that's clearly not the case. But another thing that you guys have to understand, that this was a year ago, so the circumstances have changed for a lot of us creators. For example, Luke at 60K subscribers now, he's blown the hell up. I mean, back when we started, I think he had about 9,000. I had about 5,000, and Nick, I think, only had about 3,000. Like, so, I mean, we were much smaller creators than we were now, and none of us, by any means, were even remotely close to doing this full time. And even now, I'm doing this full time. Nick's doing this full time, and Luke's doing this full time. I'm pretty sure Luke is. I mean, he's definitely making enough money to do so full time. I don't know if he is, if he's working outside of it, but we like no, and then again, nobody else that currently is a member it has this full time, you know, luxury, I guess you could call it, where they have nothing but time to make videos. So back then, not only do we have our real life obligations, whatever we were doing, whether it be at school, school and work, working full time. You know, like when we started this, I was working full time, and Nick was working full time. Luke was in school full time. Like everybody had obligations. On top of the fact that we had to upload as frequently as we did for our own channels. Like I know Nick would upload every other day, as he always has pretty much. I would upload at least 4 times a week, oftentimes more than that. You know, like we were always putting in work for our own channels, which if you know anything that it takes a lot of time and effort. And if you want it to be quality, you might not like your first take. You might have to go back, re-record, all that stuff. We were busy. And then on top of that, we also had to do the Chaotix thing, which I think initially we bit off a little bit more than we could chew, just because we all got busy. All of our schedules were different. We had a standard for when we first started the channel. We didn't want it to be, oh, here's what you can find on my channel, on this channel. We wanted it to be a collaborative area where all of our personalities came together and worked together to make cool content that we didn't quite find on our own channels. Because if it was just the same content as we found on our own channels, what was really the point, you know? So we wanted to get everybody together. Dallas mentioned this. We wanted to have at least 3 members per video, and that was hard to organize. It was hard to get recordings going. Having people, you know, be able to set up part-time, apart from all the other things they had going, for basically, I mean, at this point, really, like, no money, basically. You know, so, like, whenever you're doing something people love to say you should be doing it for fun, and we do it for fun. We did do it for fun. Mm-hmm. But when you have the option of, I can either go do this and make money, or do this for fun and make nothing, the thing that's going to make you money is going to be your big motivator. It's just the way it goes in life, and it's so like, I'm talking about work. I'm not talking about like personal channels over this, because even our personal channels at that time were making like no money. So that was just a big thing. It wasn't a slacking thing. It was just really hard to organize. And another thing, I think it also sounded like whenever this was the launch sounded like this is really sloppy, unorganized. Let's make a channel, and then the next day we made a channel. First of all, I want to say the recruiting process of finding the 10 right creators we wanted took a long time. This took months. The first person I asked about it was Nick. Nick and I talked about this probably 5 months before the launch of it. And then even when we had the 10 people set, there was still probably 2-3 months before we even launched the channel. I mean, we had people come and go, like people we recruited and left before we even started. Like it took a long time. There was a ton of things going in it. We had to brand everybody. We had to brand the channel. We had uploads already prepared. We had like 5 videos ready before we even launched. I mean, like there was a lot of stuff that went into this. It wasn't. I'm not saying that we were perfectly organized, because obviously we weren't. There were a lot of problems with that. We could have been way more organized, but it's not like we didn't try. It's not like we just kind of, you know. I think it made it sound like
it wasn't
we were
a half-assed
like, yeah, let's make a
idea.
channel.
It was right. A very thought-out idea. Like maybe we did not take into consideration, you know, time constraints or organization of everyone, but going into it, we really did put a lot of thought into it, a lot of hours talking and organizing and thinking it over, because none of us had ever done anything like this before. We'd never started a group of 10 different individual people from, you know, all across the world, basically. It's not something that you can just make and just it succeed. It takes a lot of planning and a lot of prep work, and you know, that's maybe where some of our fault comes in. We maybe didn't prepare enough, but you know, I think we did a pretty good job for being complete novices at it.
I'm certainly not ashamed. No, I'm definitely not.
You know, Chaotix has over 3,000 subscribers now, and you know, it's pretty solid. That's, you know, there's nothing to be ashamed of there.
Moving into the next thing we wanted to talk about, the Noble Spartan. He's a huge topic in Luke's video. It's like the second half of the entire video is talking about that. And Luke basically pointed out his real breaking point was that when he felt like he was not getting any help from anybody else in Chaotix, the Noble Spartan really stepped up, and he was this. I mean, he's still he's got a decent sized channel now, but at the time he was a very small creator, and he was an up and coming editor, and he had done an edit that we put on the channel, and it had nice reception. And I mean, Luke talked about in his video, he proposed to the rest of Chaotix that Noble joined and helped make. This was all true. He got turned down. The group did not vote him in, and Luke took that kind of as like a middle finger, it seems like, because he at the time felt as if he actually said himself, he felt like he should have had a bigger say in what happened on the channel because of his effort put into it, which again, I think it's a backwards mindset considering it's supposed to be a group effort. We overall didn't vote him in. I know Nick was not for voting him in. I was, just for the sake of content, even though, and this is one of the big reasons that wasn't talked about at all. There was a code of conduct with Chaotix. One of the big things about Chaotix was that we were a brand and we were representing something greater than ourselves at that point, which was the brand Chaotix. We wanted when people looked at the name Chaotix to represent a bigger group of people, and you could look at somebody, say Nick, and say, I like Nick. Nick's part of Chaotix. That means by default I should assume that the other members of Chaotix are cool, like Nick, right? We didn't want
That's cool.
we didn't want people to be turned off to the idea of the entire brand. I mean, anybody should understand the concept of a brand and what it means to represent something and tarnish its reputation. So we sat down. We made sure we tried to remove things from videos that weren't necessarily always offensive, but insensitive. You know, like using the word rape. Like I raped that guy. Like we cut that out of our vocabulary because we felt like it was insensitive and it could have turned off potential viewers. A couple other things, you know, things that could be considered hate speech. You know, I don't want to use examples, so obviously racial slurs we couldn't use. But we were just talking about, like, not that any people necessarily had these problems. I know I used to use words like queer and faggot in my videos, and I felt like that was something I should cut out because I felt like, first of all, I feel better as a person not saying that thing because there are people that could be offended by that, and it's just insensitive. It shouldn't. This is silly. So we cut that out of our vocabulary, things like that. We didn't want stuff like that to be associated with the Chaotix brand. The Noble Spartan at the time didn't really. He was kind of an edgelord type of dude. And honestly, I gotta say, throughout this entire situation, Noble, who I've traditionally in the past not really liked, I really completely respect his entire take on it. And not so much, I mean, part of it is because, yeah, he's kind of on our side on the whole situation. But he's able to take a step back and recognize that, one, his edits may not have been the best at the time, and he's gotten a lot better himself over the past year. And two, that he would not have been a good fit because we wanted it to be somebody that had a good personality, would have fit in. And secondly, the code of conduct was important, and we didn't want somebody to misrepresent the brand. And he's able to recognize that, and he said it in the comment sections multiple times throughout all these videos that have popped up because of this, that some people have been like, I mean, it's like Luke's dying fighting on this hill of they didn't let him in, and it was just completely ridiculous that they didn't, and even with all the things that I was doing, they just didn't let him in. And Noble himself, who, this entire thing was made about him, has said, no, they were right to not accept me, and I definitely understand where they're coming from. So I really respect the way he's taken it, and I wanted to say that to Noble, first off, and secondly, that it was a more complicated situation than Luke really presented it.
I do want to say real quick that one of the reasons why I didn't want Noble in back then was, one, I personally didn't think his edits were up to scratch with the other editors that we had, which was Bullet and Fish. Those two guys are, you know, sick at it. Like, they are mind-blowing. Noble, you know, he was up and coming. He hadn't been editing for that long. His edits were cool, but, you know, they weren't quite the level that I thought we should bring into Chaotix. But it wasn't that we were closed off to him forever. It was just, you know, we didn't want to just bring someone in because they could spew out, you know, content. We wanted the edits that went up in Chaotix to be, you know, Bullet or Fish level. And, you know, also the stuff like the edginess and the meme, like, you know, edgy meme lord, you know, everyone has that stage in their life. Noble was in the middle of his. Noble now, he's a great editor, he's a great kid, you know, he's a really cool dude. So if it was now, I probably would say, yeah, let Noble in. He's a really sick editor. It's just back then he didn't really fit what we had in the image of Chaotix. So, and also, I
do want to confirm that you said that it was actually talked about multiple times, that we even said potentially in the future, if he improves, then we're not opposed to it. That was actually said multiple times during the whole process, voting him in.
One more thing. An idea for him being in was that he would edit the videos that people would make, and I remember being very against that because I didn't like the idea of a montage editor coming in to edit, you know, cut commentary, like funny highlight videos. Like, I feel like that was a bit of a slap in the face to bring someone with that much talent, or, you know, with that much skill in what they're trying to drive. Yeah, I felt like it was a bit of a slap in the face to bring a sick editor in just to edit funny highlight videos. I felt like that was just not cool. I didn't feel like he would appreciate that. So that's why I personally was against Noble. I just want to make that clear because I don't want people to be like, oh, Ubernick, what a dick for not letting this, you know, smaller YouTuber have this big opportunity. It wasn't like that. I just felt like Chaotix should not be, oh, you make content, so let's let you in. It should be, you know, you might make a lot of content, but we feel like you have to really earn your spot. So, Noble, I love you.
I wasn't planning on talking about this, and I don't want to make this the focus of the video, so I'll try to be quick about it. But again, Luke kept on talking about the majority, all the views that he had on the channel, and the majority of the views. He's like, I had 70% of the views. First of all, that statistic is not even accurate. But secondly, it was a little unfair for him to point that out when other people's responsibilities, like Spastic Fish and Bullet Rebel, both fantastic, brilliant editors, would spend like unfathomable amounts of time on videos that would last a minute and a half or 30 seconds. They put in so much effort on these videos that just weren't gonna be as popular as top fives. My initial responsibility when the channel launched was the podcast. The podcast is a long thing. It takes a long time. It's not gonna it's just not gonna be as popular as the top five. Top fives are gonna be banger videos. And Luke was in charge of top fives at one point. And when he was doing those he did so many top fives, I guess. I think he did 8 or something. It's understandable that those were more successful than others. I think the mindset that he had or was trying to like portray was that because he made it, it was more successful than others, and that his quality or his videos were just better, like by default. And I think that's a little bit unfair because some people had responsibilities that they worked hard on. They put time in to upload things and work hard on stuff that just was destined to never do as well. And I mean, like, I knew just from my own experience, one of the podcasts that I uploaded, I was in an area where the internet was shitty, but I had a deadline to meet. And it took me literally 24 hours to upload it. I mean, my laptop was unusable for 24 hours because it was uploading that one podcast, and the podcast did average. And that was I'm just saying, like, it was more to it, and the views can't be expected to be evenly distributed. And I don't think it was just because Luke was making it. I think he had the top fives, which of course were a more marketable video. And yeah, that's just another unfair thing to say about that. And all right, we can move forward now. That's all I want to talk about that. Why didn't we make a formal announcement that we were not focused on CX? Again, if Luke was being repeatedly asked about this, Luke, what happened to CX? Luke, what happened to CX? Then he decided to make a video. I would have understood why he did. But one, he never mentioned that, so I have reason to believe that didn't happen. And two, he also never came to any of us, which we mentioned at the beginning. He never talked to us about it. He never came to Nick, he never came to myself and said, what's going on? In fact, the only thing I heard about him from Chaotix in the longest of times was when the 1 year anniversary was approaching. He said, do we have any ideas for something to do something special with the 1 year anniversary? And I said, I don't believe so. That's literally what I said. I mean, so no, we didn't talk about it. He never said anything. There was never a conversation about that. So I don't know why he even made it, but the actual reason why we never did was because one, we still uploaded to the channel. Like I mentioned, Max took over the top five. I'm gonna pull up the channel right here. Excuse me. You can see 6 days ago there's a video. Before that was a month. Before that, I mean, there's a few. I mean, there was like 2 top fives a month at least for the longest time. Like a lot of people weren't asking what happened. They just kind of all, like, without it being said, figured out that, hey, everybody was focusing on their own channel. I mean, you guys are smart, right? Everybody watching is smart. It's pretty obvious when you could look at the channel and see that we're not uploading there very often, but we're all uploading on our own channels, like regular as hell, where our priorities lie. I didn't think it, first of all, needed a necessarily announcement. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mean to sound blunt there, but like, it should be obvious. Secondly, we were never planning on completely abandoning the channel, and we didn't want to make a video saying, hey, we're not going to be uploading here anymore very much. Because the moment you do that, the moment you say something like that out loud on YouTube, a lot of people interpret that as, oh, they're done forever, or they don't care anymore and they're not going to do it anymore. And that wasn't, first of all, true, and secondly, we didn't want people to get the wrong idea and think that Chaotix was no longer a thing, because we still identified as a group, just not as a channel. And that really was the whole original point of CX, was that it was supposed to be a brand that when you saw it, like I said, you would recognize it as a cool thing, and that people in it all made really quality, good content that you could probably enjoy. If you enjoyed one member of CX, you'd probably enjoy all of them, which was kind of the idea. It was never really supposed to be, the emphasis wasn't supposed to be the group channel. And I mean, just given the numbers of it, like, it has 3,000 subs, which is pretty solid, of course, but like, given the individual popularity we had over it, it should have been obvious that, like, the good content you could find from the creators isn't going to be always on the main channel. It's going to be on their own channels. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Nick, by me saying that?
Yeah, no, for sure. I like
you talk for a bit.
Like, for me personally, Chaotix was never going to be, it was never going to be the Chaotix channel, then the Ubernick channel. That was never once agreed upon. That was never an idea that we all had. I remember the moment that I knew that I had to kind of really shift my full attention to my channel, and that was the reason why I stepped down from the top 5, was because I don't want to make excuses for myself. I don't want to sound like, oh, this is why I stopped doing this. But around the last couple episodes of the top 5, we had very, very, very low submissions for the clips, so it was really hard to round up, decent clips, and I wasn't willing to make a top 5 if it was, a double kill with a BR. That's, sometimes we got, pretty bum submissions, so it was whatever, but I wasn't willing to make an episode full of terrible clips. So around whenever I was ending it, clips were getting pretty bad. But on top of that, I lost my full-time job at the time. I was a full-time editor for another channel that was really popping off, so that was kind of like, I can either make my YouTube dream really come true if I really go hard and edit for this other channel, or I can, find another job and keep up Chaotix and, edit some videos for this other channel and also do my video on the side. So I made the decision for myself to really hardcore edit for this other channel, which really popped off, really benefited me. And in those months that I worked for that channel and was really working hard for that channel, my own channel, because I was going hard on that as well, also popped off. And here I am, all the hard work that I put in back then has really accumulated to where I'm at now. So those are the reasons why I kind of stepped away from Chaotix's channel a little bit, but I never stepped away from the Chaotix brand as a group of people. There's a very key difference there that I feel like a lot of people kind of misinterpreted a lot. I feel like a lot of people thought of Chaotix as just the YouTube channel and not the group of people that made it up. That was the whole idea behind Chaotix. That was the whole reasoning behind the group. It wasn't just a hub channel, it was the people that made up the Chaotix name. So hopefully that's kind of made it a little bit clear for some people, because I can definitely see the confusion that people would feel about that, why that wouldn't necessarily be completely obvious to some people straight away. But that's how we always felt. Maybe we could have done a better job of communicating that, but hindsight is a great thing. It's always lovely looking back on your past mistakes and what you know now when you didn't know back then. So do you agree with that, Cole?
For sure. Oh, 100%. No, I think that's actually one of the greater overlying problems with everything, was that there was the giant misconception. I think a lot of people did think it was the channel and not necessarily the people, and that's not what it was ever meant to be. So maybe we did something wrong there, but yeah, I mean, the idea was to be like the FaZe clan of Halo, basically. Call of Duty had these groups where you knew all the members were cool and all the members had big followings individually, but then also occasionally they'd have these really cool videos on the main channel. Like the FaZe channel, actually, they'd be like huge montage with all the members of the group and everybody loves it.
Like how we started on Chaotix with that big team tag.
Exactly, yeah. Like I think too many people thought that. I just gotta love with you guys. If you think that we're lazy because we didn't have the same amount of activity on the CX channel as we did our own, that's just impossible. It just would not have been. I mean, maybe nowadays for just Nick and I, because we have, but I mean, even then, like, we have other things we have to take care of, even in the real world, besides working on this. And, we have our own streams that we run, and obviously that takes time too. But I'm just saying, like, it was never going to happen. I think too many people expected that, and we don't make it clear that was never going to really be the case. Because we never did commit to a schedule. We never said daily uploads or anything like that. But yeah, but I mean, the biggest thing, we didn't make a big announcement because it was never meant to change. We never wanted people to think differently of Chaotix, because obviously some people would have just, I don't know, the priority shifted. It felt like it was obvious, and then we moved on almost a year later, and we've grown individually, and it is what it is. But then all this got rehashed somehow. So, I mean, I guess the last thing we really want to talk about, what Chaotix is now. What do you think about that, Nick? What do you want to? I mean, you kind of talked about it there. But
it's Chaotix now is, what I said, is not a YouTube channel. It's a group of friends. There are, let me see, 13, 14, maybe 15 members. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but there's about a dozen people in Chaotix now, and we are a group of YouTubers, streamers, people who make content online in some fashion. Mostly Halo related, hopefully. But we're not just a YouTube channel. We are not just the Chaotix Gaming YouTube channel. We are a group of people split across completely different parts of the community. Cole, big sweaty arena kid. Me, I'm a Warzone kid. We cover every aspect of the game, but we're a big family. And at the end of the day, that's what we are. We are just a massive group of people who are looking out for each other and trying to support each other on YouTube, and just in any other ways that we can. That's what Chaotix was, just a big group of people who wanted to look out for each other. Do you agree with that, Cole?
kind of like, oh, 100%. I feel like the family word hits that on the head. I mean, we really, through all the great friends that I've made since being a YouTuber. I mean, Nick and I have been great friends since the start of 2016. We started talking because of mutual admiration of each other's channels, and we started collabing. We've been great friends ever since. A lot of people I've met that have joined Chaotix because they've been great friends to me, and it's not just me, but other people have been like Hype Train, for example, good friend from Dallas, and we all agreed that he's a great streamer and should he could represent the brand properly. And it's just supposed to be a family, really. All the people that are good friends that want to help each other grow and support each other. And again, going back to that, we wanted like a cool vibe around it, and that's really what it's meant to be. Clay fit in well. We thought a lot of people, and apparently, just some people don't have interest in being associated with that anymore, and that's the way it is. So we're just gonna keep on trucking to everybody that wants to keep supporting us and our Chaotix family. Much love. Sorry that this had to happen the way it did. I mean, I don't know why it did to begin with.
Didn't have to expect to have to make a video like this, but it is what it is. Maybe
Nick and I actually jokingly the other day said we were gonna start some Halo YouTube drama. We were gonna start some Halo YouTube drama to grow, and we were joking, but I mean, shit, this kind of happened anyways. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't, but I do want to. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I get the vibe that Luke doesn't want to be a part of anything to do with some of this stuff anymore, and that's the way it is. That's okay.
I guess we just wish that he had reached out to us and talked to us in private, got on a call with us or something, and just expressed how he felt. But it is what it is. I want to make it very clear. None of us have any ill will against Luke. I would still consider Luke a friend. I would still consider Luke someone I would get on very well with. I'm very happy to see the growth he's had on his channel. But just people or things are handled in ways that we feel they could have handled a little bit differently.
Yeah, I did want to. I wanted to make sure I made that in too. I don't want you guys to think that Luke or Nick and I hate Luke. That's not the case. We just definitely felt like this needed to be addressed. And yeah, I'm a little upset at the way it went down. But this will pass. It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. That's it. I'm good. I said everything I want to say.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here. It's been 30 odd minutes of just us talking about Chaotix, so hopefully this will be your Chaotix fill for the year. I'm only joking. But no.
Yeah, see you guys next year. This is our yearly upload.
But no, but Chaotix is a group of people. I'm gonna link every single member of Chaotix in the description down below, so you can go check them out. We cover so much different content. Everyone's very cool, very active in their own ways. Some people have moved on from Twitch or YouTube a little bit and started streaming a bit more. Check out their streams, support them. But if you guys have any questions or anything you're still confused about, or anything you want to input your thoughts on the situation, because we always want to hear what people think about what's going on. So make sure you leave some comments down below, and we will all be looking through the comments and replying to people, and just trying to make this situation as clear as possible. And I don't think this situation, it doesn't need to be a big deal. It doesn't have to be anything. It's not it's not super serious, diss track worthy drama, nothing like that. It's just something I feel like
Keemstar is
100% going to cover this, but it's something we wanted to just clear up and just have a clear picture of our side of things. Anyway, Luke put out his side. Dallas has made a video. Seth put out his stat video, and now me and Cole have made this video, which hopefully encompasses kind of the other end of things. So yeah.
It hopefully ends this nonsense. Yeah. I want to just move on from it. It's only been one day. It's literally been a day, and I'm already over it.
No, for sure. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but I don't want people to think that Chaotix is some broken mess when it's not. We're all still great friends, hopefully. All right, well, we're going to end it. Thank you all so much for watching. We love you all. Thank you so much for all the support on all of our channels separately. We all super appreciate it. So yeah, we'll see you.
Later.